What is the origin of the unicorn? Where did this fabulous creature come from? And why do people still believe in them today? Well, that's what we're going to find out in today's video. Hi, it's Pretty Kooky, and let's start with number 10, the Bible. Now, obviously, if you're going to talk about unicorns, you have to mention the Bible. There are several references to unicorns in both the Old and New Testament. In the Old Testament, there is a reference to the unicorn as a wild ox with a single horn on its forehead. The exact translation of the word unicorn in the Bible is actually debatable, and some scholars say that it was mistranslated and that the original text actually meant rhinoceros. However, that doesn't explain all the other references to unicorns, such as the one in the 23rd Psalm, which says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake." Some believe that the unicorn represents Christ himself, while others believe it represents strength and power. Number 9, Sir Samuel Baker. In 1862, Sir Samuel Baker, a British explorer, came across a rather peculiar creature while on an expedition in Africa. He described it as being a horse with a single horn on its head. This sighting was later dismissed by other explorers as a case of mistaken identity, but Baker stood by his story until his death. Could he have been the first modern person to have seen a unicorn, or was he just misinformed? You decide. Number 8, the goddess of the forest. In Celtic mythology, there is a goddess named Epona, who is often depicted as having a horse's head with a single horn. She is said to be the protector of horses and other animals, as well as the bringer of spring. The earliest record we have of her comes from a poem by the Roman poet Ovid, who wrote about her as a fertility goddess. Number 7, Leonardo da Vinci. One of the most famous depictions of a unicorn comes from Leonardo da Vinci's notebook, where he drew a horse with a single horn on its head. He also wrote about his theory that unicorns were actually horses with one horn that grew out of their foreheads. Of course, this is not true, but it's interesting to see how even the great Leonardo da Vinci was fascinated by these mythical creatures. Number 6, the last unicorn. One of the more recent legends of the unicorn comes from a children's book called The Last Unicorn by Peter Spiegel. In the story, a unicorn leaves the magical land of the unicorns to search for her lost love. Along the way, she meets a number of fantastical creatures and has many adventures. The book was later adapted into a movie in 1982. No, 5. Origin of the myth. The exact origin of the unicorn myth is unknown, but it's believed to have originated in India or China. From there, the legend spread to Greece and Rome, where it was incorporated into their mythology. During the Middle Ages, unicorns were often used as symbols of purity and grace, and they were popular among the nobility. Number 4, Al-Ghazali. In the year 1154, a Persian philosopher and polymath named Al-Ghazali wrote about a creature that he had seen that matched the description of a unicorn. He said that the animal had the body of a horse and the head of a deer, and that it was so swift that it could not be caught. Now, 3, Johann Fischart. In 1570, a German writer named Johann Fischart published a book called The Unicorn, which contained a detailed description of the animal as well as illustrations. He claimed that unicorns could be found in Arabia and India, and that they were so elusive that no one had ever been able to capture one alive. Number 2, C.S. Lewis. The famous author of the Chronicles of Narnia, C.S. Lewis, also wrote a story about a unicorn. In his book, The Magician's Nephew, the unicorn is one of the first creatures to be created in the land of Narnia. He is also one of the most powerful creatures in the series, and he is said to be immortal. No, 1, Alice in Wonderland. Finally, we have the famous quote from Alice in Wonderland. When Alice first meets the Mad Hatter, He is having a tea party with the March Hare and the Dormouse. The Mad Hatter says to Alice, "Why is a raven like a writing desk?" "Because it can produce a few notes, you know?" And Alice says, "But why is a unicorn like a pencil?" "Because it has a point." So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. See you next time.